Hi, great people. You are welcome back to Physique Fashion House channel. My name is Fola. We appreciate as many that has been subscribing to this channel. But if you have not subscribed, subscribe today. Thank you. Today we'll be learning how to make one trendy open back lacing. Let's go. So make this style. These are the materials we need. I've come with the basic bodies pattern for the back, and we'll be using this African print to make it. We need our highlight machine and the highlights. Then we need this rope for lacing. They call this one sambala in the market. So you are good to use any color of your choice. So now for these back bodies, all I've done here is that, let me write it back. So I have my half back length of 16 inches. This line you are seeing here is the starting point for my shoulder length, and this is a hem allowance, half an inch. So the length of our back bodies is 16 inches. We have our chest line 8 inches. Then the shoulder length we are working with is 14 inches. We divide it by 2, give us 7 inches. This 1 inch you are seeing here is a zipper allowance, which we are not going to make use of anyway, but this is just for the basic back bodies. So 1 inch, then we rule it before we get our shoulder length of 7 inches. And then our chest line is 8 inches. I measure 8 inches here. Then I give it a straight, horizontal ruling here. Then this is our waistline of 16 inches. Then I rule it. The chest circumference we are working with is 34. When we divide 34 by 4, it gives us 8.5. That's what I measure here, 8.5. Then this line you are seeing here is bust span. Our bust span is the bust span we are working with, that is nipple to nipple, is 7 inches. We divide it by 2, give us 3.5. I get it here, I get it down here, and I give it a straight ruling. Then on the waist, on that line, we come to the left and to the right by half an inch. Then we connect it the way you are seeing it here. That forms our dart. Then we have our waist measurement. Waist circumference we are working with is 28. We divide it by 4, give us 7 inches. I measure 7 inches here, 7 inches. Then I return this 1 inch. That's what you are seeing here. Then I connect it. I've not given it my seam allowance. So this is the basic bodies. So now, to go straight to the business of today, what we are going to do now is to give our measurements seam allowance. And for the side seam allowance, I'll be making use of 1 inch as my side seam allowance. So I had 1 inch to it here. I had 1 inch seam allowance to the waist, to the bust here, and to the waist. Then I connect it. This is my seam allowance, and I get seam allowance here. So I just step up with half an inch here, half an inch. So I get my half an inch this way to serve as my joining allowance, because the style has a sleeve. So for this project, you are good to make use of any front bodies of your choice. You are good to make use of corsets. You can use a bustier or any front bodies of your choice. You are good to go. Half an inch. So half an inch is my joining allowance for the armhole. Half an inch at my shoulder length. Yes, the joining allowance has been added to it. So now, the next thing we want to do now is to go straight to the lacing parts. So first of all, just note that we are not making use of zipper allowance in this project. So, and then now the next thing you have to do now is to determine your the wideness of your neckline. And for this one, I'll be, this is the basic wideness of the neckline. So I'll be making use of you can use 4 inches to 4.5. So let me just use 4 inches. So the wideness of my neckline is 4 inches. Get it here. So I'll just cancel this zipper allowance. We don't need this zipper allowance at all. So as a matter of fact, I will cut it off so that you will see exactly what we are working towards. So I cut off the zipper allowance. Yeah. So the next thing I will just do here is to shape the back. I will shape the back, then I will shape the back with half an inch. You mark half an inch here. You come in on the waistline with half an inch. On this chest line, just step up with 2 inches. Then you connect it slantly. So by so doing, the back has been shaped. Yeah, so we are going to get rid of this. We are going to cut it off. So the next thing I want to do here is to close my dart. So before I go ahead and close the dart, I will cut away this joining allowance. I will be adding it to when I'm cutting the main fabric, I will be adding it back. So I don't want it to affect the closure of the dart. So it was there so that you will know you need a joining allowance there. That's what you use and join it to your skirt part. So now let me so yeah, so the back that has been closed. So the next thing we want to do now is to now shape to determine the depth of our back neck. So for this project, I'll be making use of 8 inches as the depth. I make use of 4 inches. I mark 4 inches as the depth of the wideness of my neckline, and I'll be using 8 inches as the depth. I come down with, so which means it's going to fall on this chest line. So I will mark 4 inches. The 4 inches I get here, I'll get it here. I just rule it. I connect it to this straight. I will want it to be a little bit slant. So by soldering, I will get 3.5 here instead of 4 inches. I don't want it to just come straight like that. So, now you see. So I connect it this way. Yes. So to connect it to the waistline, so what I will do is I will pick my ruler and connect it from this up. I will join it direct to this that point. So you can see this has been cut away. Then you cut your. So this is what you are going to use to cut out your main fabric now. So ensuring you, remember to add your half an inch seam allowance here. So remember to add your half an inch joining allowance that we cut away here. So other seam allowance has been added. So now this is the pattern we are going to make use to cut out our fabrics now. So let me just cut it out. And mind you, this pattern that I will use to cut out my fabric, it is the same fabric I will use as my lining for that back. But you are good to use ordinary lining. This is it. I've cut out the fabric. This is the main fabric, and this will be used for lining. You can actually cut out this style on your fabric directly, but just for us to save fabric, because you know all this one that we have cut out with the pattern, so that we won't end up wasting our fabric. So after cutting it out, the next thing is for you to go and gum your fusible interfacing to it, also known as a hairstay. This is the black of it, this is the off-white of it. It comes in these two colors. So after gumming it to both of them, both the lining and the main fabric, then the main fabric, I just come with the samples of this thing. This is the paper stay, original one, the thicker one. So you now gum it to the main fabric again at the area where you need to put your eyelet, so as to give it strength, because it needs to be strong a bit in that area you need to fix your eyelet. So you add this to the main fabric after gumming this. So that's the thing I want to go ahead and do now. Now, this is it. I've gone ahead to, iron my interfacing on it, the hairstay. I deliberately use the contrast color for the lining and the main fabric. This is the main fabric. I did this, I used black on the main fabric, so that by the time I gum this paper stay, it will be obvious. So you can see I leave the half an inch seam allowance. I leave it, and then I put it in the area where the eyelet will be fixed. So from this, so the next thing I want to do now is to go ahead and join the lining and the fabric together. This is it. So I'll go ahead and join it together with this half an inch, our seam allowance. So then I iron it. So the next thing, thereafter we come and fix our eyelet. Now this is it. We have joined the lining and the main fabric together, and we have ironed it and top stitch. So the next thing we want to do is to mark the area at which our eyelet will be fixed now. So just turn it to the wrong side. That is where you want to mark. So, and this is half an inch seam allowance up here. So from there, you measure 8 inches down, or 8.5. Let me use 8.5. So make sure you come in with half an inch. That is where your eyelet will be fixed. So from there, from this point now, I begin to measure 1.25. That's 1/4. So I measure 1/4, 1.25, 1.25, 1.25, 1.25. So the remaining will be used as our joining allowance to the skirt part. So I mark this same thing here. Then we now fix our highlights. So now I put the hole. This machine is a 2-in-1. This is it. Then I pick my, this is the right side. Then I place it. Yeah, this is it. So this is the way I will do for the remaining. So I'll do the same thing for the remaining. So I fixed the highlight on it. This is it. This is the front part. This is the wrong side. The next thing is for me to insert the lacing. So you can just go ahead and the tip of your lacing, just so that it will not be loose and it will be easier for you to insert it. So you just insert it this way. Do the same. I'm using like 2 years of this thing. Then this one, take it to this side. Take this one here. This one will come this side now. If you want to have surplus after attaching it to your body, you are good to cut like 3 years. So now after fixing your lacing, the next thing is for you to join the shoulder length of the back and the front together. Then you join the side together, and our beautiful open back lacing will be ready. You can see how beautiful it looks. So I'm sure you have enjoyed this video. So give me a giant thumbs up and share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so, and I'll be expecting your comments on the comment section. So see you next time.